take the hit, take the hit, take the hit.
Welcome back to FPL Take the Hit. You are here with Joff. We're talking UEFA Champions League. It's the beginning. It's the beginning. Yes. The new season of the Champions League is here. What is it? 2023 now, 24. Beautiful time. I'm here to do a bit of a preview. Just talk about a fair few of the teams, a few of the players, you know, some cheaper options, some premium options. Just my current team at the moment as well, plus just some tips and tricks, you know, just a bit of an insight of what I could do as well, because I've been playing this game for a long time and it's a beautiful game. I feel like it's one of the most beautiful games to play. You learn lessons about life, believe it or not. It's you know, like trusting your feel, going with your gut, you know, doing that kind of stuff. And then if the crowd's going one way, you go your way, you know how it is like with FPL as well. So I thought I'd throw that in there to begin with, but let's go. Without further ado, shall we begin? So this is my team at the moment, what it looks like currently. I've got a bit of a strategy down pat with this team, and my strategy basically is to just get the best amount of points for the first game week. I do play somewhat aggressive in this game here and there. It's a beautiful game. I can play it my way. So my game week one team is basically just all in on that first game week one, the Matchday one. So I might as well just rattle off a few of the names. So Lewandowski, Haaland and Alvarez up top. A few of these players, it looks like they're out, just so that on the right-hand side it's clear. And then in the midfield, we've got Saka, Sane, Xavi Simons, Bellingham, who's had a great start at Madrid, and Thuram. And then in defence, we've got DiMarco, Raum, Ake, Darmian, and Fran Garcia, and Blazwich and Samuel Suarez as my goalkeepers. So that's my team at the moment. I'll go through all of the players as I go through the teams as well. Just I'm going to go about this my way here, and just a little bit more insight about my potential strategy now, just knocking you guys with it, is to basically in Matchday 1, get the best possible start. Matchday 2, most likely, use my Limitless immediately, get it done. Matchday 3, see the feel of my team, and potentially even wildcard. Because in the latter stages of the Champions League, there's not really much need for a wildcard, because you get, you know, more transfers, and if you're kind of on your team, you're not doing stupid shit, you should be pretty sweet. So I've been playing this game for a few years now, so this is a strategy that that's just my feel right now. It can change in any minute. Maybe I'll do Limitless in game week 3, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, without further ado, let's start talking a few of the teams. And we've got Arsenal on the screen there already. I think that Arsenal is an amazing way into your Matchday 1 squad being having an amazing score, because they've got PSV, Lens and Sevilla, and that squad is it's a beautiful squad. I think Arsenal's going to have a nice season in the Champions League. I know they haven't been in it for, I think it's just a couple of seasons or whatever it is, but I'm pretty sure there's a few debuts for a few of these players. But Saka, I think that Saka's an excellent option. 9.5 million. Look, he's a bit pricey, but it is what it is. Sometimes you've got to pay a bit extra, especially he's most likely on penalties. I know that it is a little bit of a dance with Odegaard, but so Odegaard could be an option as well. He's definitely an option at 9 million for Arsenal, so I'll be definitely keeping an eye on Odegaard moving forward. Jesus, if he's declared fit, at the beginning here as well, I'll be looking at him. Because Gabriel is fairly he's got Champions League football experience as well, so I think that he could be an excellent option. Martinelli, Trossard, these are two other players that going to keep an eye on with this Arsenal team, because there is a little bit of rotation. He's played a little bit of a dance in the Premier League with Gabriel, and all this new formation with Partey playing right back. You guys know what I'm talking about. So Arsenal, I'm just going to observe for the beginning here, and look at Mr. Saka, get Saka in for the beginning. And anyway, let's move forward. I've skipped Antwerp, by the way, because just not a team that I'm looking at all, unfortunately, for Antwerp. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so what we've got now is we've got Atletico Madrid. We know what Diego Simeone, who's I think he's the highest paid manager in the world or something like that. So yeah, they're paying him for a reason. He knows what he's doing. He's defensively sound. I'm looking at a couple of Lazio players. I'm a Roma supporter, yeah. I think that Lazio is going to have a decent campaign, but against Atletico in the first game, I'm going to stand back a little bit potentially. But I think that Atletico all season long, with players like Griezmann, even Memphis Depay, Morata, they're just solid names. Solid names. They know how to play with one another. Savage at the back there. Morata is obviously, he's still scoring goals for Spain, and he got a hat-trick recently as well. So definitely a team to keep an eye on as well at the early stages. I mean, their group is pretty decent. The first game, that's why I'm just going to observe, see who's starting. This is another bit of a mindset thing for myself. See who's starting, have a feel into it. Then they've got Feyenoord and Celtics. So for both Lazio and Atletico, I'm just going to stand off for the first game week and then see what happens moving forward. Barcelona. So Barcelona's group, special group for them. Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. Robert Lewandowski, here we go. He's back in the Champions League. He's scored infinite goals. It's going to be interesting because there's no Ronaldo and no Messi for the first time since he's been in the Champions League as well. So for me, it's the Louis show. It's always the Louis show, Louis is always in my team. I love this guy. I think he's well priced. 10-5. He's going to be scoring a lot of goals. He's going to be scoring for fun. I think that this Barcelona team is fairly special. We've got players like that Kunde at the back there. They've got a few defensive options that could be decent as well. But again, a little bit of rotation with the whole squad, to be honest. Obviously, they've got Cancelo as well. Gundogan's come in. Great option. Ferran Torres, João Felix, Rafinha. This squad is deep. The squad is so deep. So I'm going to be definitely keeping an eye on who's starting for them, what's the story with Barcelona. But for the start, Lewandowski, let's go. Let's get me started. That'll do for the start for Barcelona, but definitely another team to just keep an eye on. Have a look. See what's going on. All right. Bayern Munchen. There's a lot of heavily owned players there. Alphonse Davies, he's had a great start in the campaign. A couple of assists. Harry Kane obviously has moved there. 10 million. It's a good price bracket. He's the new Lewandowski, isn't he, for Bayern Munich? Joshua Kimmich, we know what to expect. He recovers a lot of balls. He chips in with a couple of goals, some assists. De Ligt at the back. Sane's in my team. I'm going to start with Leroy. Leroy's just a Champions League darling. What do you want? What do you want from the Champions League darling that is Sane? I love the guy. So I'm going to definitely be starting with him. He scored for Germany most recently as well. Scored a couple goals. Just a great player. Musiala, I think he's missed the last couple of games. So leading up to the game, if he's fit, a great option. A really good option is Musiala. Upamecano, Kim at the back. Again, it's one of those ones where some of these, like this Kim for 5 million defensively for Bayern, a good option. A good option. If you want to spend that little bit extra, this season I've really focused on spending my funds in the midfield and up front, limiting my funds at the back just so I can top heavy. But I mean, if you want to spend a bit extra cash, players like Kunde from Barcelona or Kim from Bayern, good options. A little bit more expensive, but good options. I know I've got one expensive defender in there. We'll talk about him later. But even they've got Guerrero as well, So that's why with Davies, I'm like, shit, is Guerrero going to pinch minutes? Is he? Guerrero's a weapon. And Ulrich. So Ulrich is going to probably start in goal for them as Mr. Neuer is injured at the moment. I think he broke his leg last year, but he's coming back. So there's a good chance that Neuer misses the first game and plays the second game. So they've got Manchester in the first game. So I'm just going to observe it. See what happens here. But yeah, again, players like Gnabry, Mueller. This team it's destined for big things this season. I can see it. And great start against United. So Benfica. So Samuel Suarez is the first player that I speak about with Benfica. He's a 4 million keeper, budget option. Most likely going to start. That's what it looks like at the moment. Keep an eye on Samuel Suarez if you want a cheap option in there. João Mario. So he was a bloody Champions League darling last season, wasn't he? But this season looks like he's lost penalties to Angel Di Maria. I'm not 100% about that, but I mean, Angel Di Maria has rejoined Benfica, and you just know that he's gonna hog a bit more of a lot of the duties. So João Mario, I actually started with him in my team. I was like, maybe him and Maria can do well together, but he's out. He's out, and I don't think that. He's an option for me. At the moment, prove me wrong. Anything's possible. João Mario can start to get a couple of goal assist, free kick. He's a special player. But Di Maria, 8 million forward as well. If he hits the ground running, he could have an excellent tournament. They've got Salzburg, Inter, and Sociedad, so it's not the easiest group. Because Salzburg, there's going to be a lot of goals in that kind of game. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on this Benfica game here. So, Otamendi, he's going to be scoring headers. Great option. But, I reckon that'll do it for Benfica. Moving down to Braga. Not really much to say about Braga, to be honest. Pizzi, he's their playmaker. Ricardo Horta, he scores goals for them. But there's just not much here for me at the moment. They've got They've got Napoli, they've got Madrid and Union Berlin. Not for me. Braga, not for me. Celtic, not for me either. Joe Hart, though, budget keeper, 4.5 million. Furuhashi, 7.5 million forward. He's their talisman. He's their guy. But Celtic, I'm not a fan of their group either. They got a difficult group. Feyenoord, Dutch champions, Lazio and Atletico. Not an easy group, but hey, again, another team you just observe. These are the teams I observe. They had a good start. I start to look at their players. Copenhagen, again, another team that I'm just going to observe. Galatasaray, Munich and Manchester United. Vavro at the back there, he scores goals. I know that. I've done a little bit of research into these guys. Otherwise, just not really a team to consider at the moment. At the moment, we'll observe them against Galatasaray and see what happens. And then Red Star. What is it? Sverna Zvezda. So Red Star, Belgrade, another team I'm just going to observe, see what happens. They've got City in the first game. If City belt them off the park, it's just not going to be nice moving forward for them. But just again, another team that I'm looking at this moment. Borussia Dortmund, a team that I'm observing. I'm not going to start with any at the moment. But obviously you got Marco Reus at 7.5 million there. He hasn't been starting too many in the league, but he's a Champions League footballer. He's a bit older now, so a great option. Sule at the back, Adeyemi up front. Great options here. They could really, after this PSG game, which is, again, I'm just going to dodge it. They've got Milan and Newcastle, so that group, that is the group of death. But obviously with players like Thomas Meunier, Hummels, Sabitzer, Marlon, they've got a great team. Emre Can, he could be on penalties at 6 million in the midfield. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens in this group. But for the start, definitely going to observe it. See what happens in this group. Dutch champions Feyenoord, Jimenez. So Santiago Jimenez, 7.5 million forward, very overpriced. But if you want to hit the ground running and you want to take a risk, that could be a good option. Against Celtic straight away, could hit the ground going bang. I probably won't do it. Very ballsy if you do this, respect. But again, another team to just see how they go, see how they cope in the step up of league. All right, Galatasaray. I've got a few Turk mates. I know a fair bit about this team. I think that again, straight away, if you want to hit the ground running, Icardi first game against Copenhagen. Icardi scores goals for fun, especially in the cauldron at home there in Turkey. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in this first game. So, Angelino as a left back, overpriced, 5 million. But just in this game week 1 team, I think that Galatasaray is a great option. I'm not too sure if players like Hakim Ziyech or Zaha are going to begin these games. Someone like Mertens will start though. But just a great team. And this guy here, Karim, how do you pronounce his name? Aktürkoğlu. So this guy here, he's been scoring a couple of goals for them in the league as well. Tete's been playing on the wing. So a couple of options for Galatasaray here as well. But again, difficult group, United and Bayern Munich. So sometimes, obviously, when you look at a player like this, you bring in a Cardi, and then if you haven't got a plan, you're like, shit, he's got tough fixtures. So just an idea. So Inter Milan, the runners-up now. Man, I love this squad. I think this is a great team for the Champions League this season. Sommer as their keeper. Obviously, Onana left, went to United. He's heavily owned, 24%. I think that Sommer is going to be in most people's squads if you don't have either a budget entry or I've got Blaswich for Leipzig. But Sommer was in my team all day long, but I wanted 3 Inter players. And Darmian for me is it's just hard to refuse. 4.5 million defender. And DiMarco. So DiMarco is my boy. DiMarco is my boy. I love this guy. He's a weapon. He's just going to whip in balls, whip in crosses, whip in assists, score goals as well, mind you. I love DiMarco. He's fun to watch. He's explosive. Highly recommend. And Denzel Dumfries as well. These two like bombers on the wing. They're absolute weapons. So definitely keep an eye on this. They've just signed Benjamin Pavard. So, man, I don't know what happens here. It's just like, really? Why are you going to sign him Pavard? You've got bloody Dumfries. Dumfries is a weapon. He's already had a good start in the Serie A. So, yeah. And Inter's group, I like Inter's group. Inter's group is Benfica, Salzburg, and Sociedad. So, shouldn't be much issues there. Lautaro Martinez. So, he's already started the season in hot form in the Serie A. Penalty duties is between him and... how do you say his name? Kalchoglu. Yeah, Hakan. I always kind of somewhat butcher his name, but Martinez should take most penalties, I believe. But yeah, look, they sometimes do have a bit of a dance with that. But yeah, for me, yeah, Martinez is just a great option anyway. He's the captain. He's the guy. He's the guy for them. Barella as well in the midfield, 7 million, great option. Definitely keeping an eye on. And Marcus Thuram. So Marcus Thuram has been starting as their, because they're playing a 3-5-2, as their centre forward with Martinez. If I didn't have Thuram, I would probably have Martinez instead of Alvarez. But I've got the option of having Thuram. Thuram scored his first goal for Inter and for France, I believe, as well recently. So I'm going to give him a crack. And yeah, so Fratesi as well. Once he starts to hit the ground running, could be a really good option. All right, that'll do it for that one there. Inter Milan, though, great option. So Lazio, like I shared earlier, for the time being for me, I'm going to stand off. But, they've just signed Kamada from a free transfer, I believe. He's a great option. 7 million in the midfield. So Immobile at 7.5 million forward. For me, he's underpriced. We know that Immobile is actually Italy's new captain. He's going to have a tournament. He's going to score at most home games. So I'm still considering him in game week 1, but obviously they've got Celtic and Feyenoord in the next 2 after that, both away. But just a really good option is Ciro Immobile. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. Zaccagni got one of his first starts for Italy on the weekend. Not for me though. I'm not going to be looking at him. Obviously, I'm a Roma supporter here, so I'm very very clinical with this team. They've got a decent team though. got to give them credit. They've got a decent team, but yeah, Romagnoli, 4.5 million defender. I'd probably keep an eye on him. That's probably a nice budget option as well moving forward. Leipzig. I like this Leipzig team. I think this Leipzig team is one to potentially triple up on. They got young boys. I know they've got City and they've got Red Star, but they've got some really good options like Danny Olmo, sorry. 7 million midfielder. He scores for Spain. He scores for bloody them, obviously. So just a really good option to have a look at for your team. So cheap as well. Xavi Simmons, however you say your name, mate. You're a weapon, mate. It's good to watch this guy play. He's getting better and better. I've watched him wherever he was playing in Holland. He was just getting better and better, and I've watched him for Holland as well. So I'm definitely going to start with him for the game week 1. 6.5 midfielder. He's already started well for Leipzig, so well played to him. Realm at the back has already got a couple of assists, 4.5 million. Great option. Simaken at the back defensively as well. We know he's going to be getting a lot of points for them. Got 3 assists last season. and Blaswich. So Blaswich is the budget option for me. I'm going to go with them. I like this Leipzig team, and yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with this Leipzig team, because it's like they're going to start with young boys straight away, go into Manchester City. That's with my plan right now, is that I'm going to have the 3 Leipzig, potentially limitless, and come back to a Leipzig team that's playing Red Star. So that's, if you could see what I'm doing with my team as well. And same as with Inter. Inter's going to be at home to Benfica, and I'm going to come back to my Inter players at home to Salzburg. So just an idea, you know. You could play whatever game, however you want to play. It's your game. All right. Moving forward to Lens, I'm not going to look at this team, to be honest. I'm not looking at them. They're not for me at the moment. I'm just going to observe them, see what happens. Manchester City, obviously Erling Haaland, he's probably going to be our captains every week. What a weapon! What a juggernaut! What a beast! Thank you for existing. What a gift he is to watch. So so Erling Haaland, amazing, 11.5 million. Doesn't matter how much he costs. 70% owned. Wow, it's going to be special to watch him again. I think that Alvarez is a great option. 7 million. Obviously, just wait and see what happens with this City team. Like with Ake at the back as well, you don't know who's going to start. That's the thing. If you play any City players, you know if they're going to start. You know that Haaland's going to start. You know that Edison's going to start. But the rest of them, you got no idea. You know, most likely Rodri. 30% known in the game. Fair enough. Well done, everyone. Rodri's most likely going to start. But the rest of them, you don't really know. You know, maybe like Diaz. Diaz is probably the best chance. Great option. Alvarez, great option though. That's why I'm thinking of doing it, just to start with him. I looked at Foden in the midfield. Just don't know if they're going to rotate. I'm just going to wait and see with City. They're the team that's going to maybe spring some changes to my Matchday 1 squad. So see what happens. Like, they've just signed a Guardiola, they've got a Kanji, they've got Ake, who's all of a sudden playing a lot more minutes than he used to. Walker as well. Stones is coming back in. Grealish is, has been well rested. He hasn't even played that much. Yeah, Kovic has just come into this team. Yeah, just a solid squad. So again, enter Pep Roulette at your own risk. Manchester United, Bayern to start with. I'm just going to observe them. And then look at that. They've got Galatasaray, Copenhagen, Galatasaray. So for me, after Matchday 1, United is a team that I'm going to be looking at, especially Bruno Fernandes at 9.5 million on penalties. He's a special player, Bruno. And with Hodgland up front there, I think that Hodgland could be a really budget cheap option as well. Maybe not for the first game against Bayern away. But Hodgland is one that I'm definitely going to look at just moving forward in this game. They signed him for so much. I watched a little bit of him for Atalanta. I know what he's got. He's got game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Rashford, 10 million forward. Probably a bit... They overpriced him for me. But a really good option as well. Could hit the ground running. Against these lower teams, Copenhagen, they could belt. They could get really massive hauls. And then, defensively as well, just watch the space to see if Varane's out, because we might get some couple of budget options in United's defence. And if any of the United's left backs are out, Reguilon's an option. That'll do for United for now. AC Milan, first name that stood out to me was Pulisic, 7 million midfielder. So I'm probably not going to start with him, because they got the group of death, man. They got bloody Newcastle, Dortmund, and PSG. So it's going to be a epic journey away, for all of those teams. I'm going to be pumped to watch as many of those games as possible. What a beautiful game the Champions League is. Just enjoying the bloody beautiful game. Doing some breathing, watching the game. Like, I watched the North Macedonia game this morning. Just do some breathing, watch the game. We drew 1-1. But just beautiful. I love the beautiful game. You got to appreciate it, huh? Far out. Anyway, so Theo Hernandez, I think he's the most expensive defender in the game. Good option. I'm not going to own him, but, good option. He bombs forward, he gets chances. I've just got a feeling they're going to concede a couple goals in this group. Rafa Leao, if he turns it on, then they're going to finish on top of this group, and they're going to dominate, they're going to fly. But he's got to turn it on. because they got PSG. They got PSG. But Rafael, he's got that much power within him that once he starts to shine, he just lifts everyone up. Because I liked him and Pulisic on the wings. I watched a game or two of theirs, and Giroud in the middle. They've got a solid team. Here. But yeah, true. PSG do have Mr. Mbappe. So anyway, that's enough about Milan. An option, couple of options there. Napoli now. So the new manager, Rudi Garcia. Obviously, a couple of great options as well. Like Di Lorenzo, overpriced 5 million, 5.5 defender, not for me, but had a great campaign last one. Kvaratskhelia, so he's a great option. 9.5 in the midfield. If he gets his shit together in this Champions League campaign, he could have a blinder. Because the group they've got, it's not difficult. They've got Braga, Union Berlin, and Madrid. So in those other games that they're not playing Madrid, he could go nuts. So between him and Osimhen, man, it's going to be interesting to see here. I'm not going to own any Napoli players for the first game week. Most likely, maybe one Jesus, because he's 4.5 million, budget option into their defense. But they've just lost at home recently to Lazio at home, so I might just observe them and see what happens. But Politano up front, 7 million, cheap as well. And yeah, just kind of, again, another team to keep an eye on. I really like this Napoli team. Obviously, reigning champions of Italy. Raspadori is a weapon as well. So, going to observe that Napoli team as well. Newcastle, I'm not going to really look at them, to be honest, for the time being. Their group's, it's pretty intense. Look at that. Milan, PSG, and Dortmund. Sandro Tonali could be one of their assets getting some assists, deep, like a Pirlo role. Isaac, for me, is their guy. If anyone's going to do something for this team, it is Isaac. He's a weapon. I think that at 7.5 million, probably a little bit overpriced if you look at that group. If you were to price Isaac at 6.5, we'd all be looking at him. But anyway, it is what it is. Trippier is 6 million, overpriced. Again, if I had to turn that down just a little bit, we would be like, whoa, Trippier, he could be getting assists. They're going to concede most weeks. But otherwise, they've got actually decent entry-level options. Like Botman, 4.5 million, defender. Dan Burn. Shah. See, for me, Shah, he scores goals. So 4.5 million defender, I'm looking at Shah. If it's meant to be. If it is meant to be. Callum Wilson, 7.5 million. Could be an option. Maybe he starts most games. They've got a good team. I like this Newcastle team. Obviously, just got Harvey Barnes as well in the lineup. Look, again, another team to, Bruno Guimaraes as well, Almiron. Another team to just keep an eye on as well, see what happens. So moving to this PSG team. So Kylian Mbappe, this is probably the first time in a long time that I'm not going to start with him. It's because I've gone with Lewandowski. And I don't know, just that whole kerfuffle that he wanted to leave and then he wanted to stay and then all of a sudden he stayed. So there's a little bit of trouble in paradise in that PSG kind of dressing room. So I want to see what happens here. Man, if he hits the ground running and scores a hat-trick immediately, we're going to be looking at him. We've got no choice. The guy's a weapon. But for the start, I'm just going to observe and see what happens with Mr. Mbappe. He's so special, isn't he? What a gift of a player. But again, he's in the group of death. So this is either going to be limit his goals or he's going to go nuts. And these games are just going to be goal-scoring games. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this group. Again, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to watch it. Hakimi, 6 million defender. He's one to keep an eye on as well. He bombs forward. Great to watch. Dembele, he'll be playing with Mbappe beautifully. Marquinhos at the back there, 5'5". He scores a few headers. Lucas Hernandez, other Hernandez's brother, 5 million defender. Good option. Skriniar as well. Like, they've got a really good team here. They've just signed Gonzalo Ramos as well from Benfica. This team it's strong. It's strong. Their first team is so strong. They've still got Leandro Paredes in the bloody lineup here. He's at Roma. He's my boys. But just a really strong team that, I'm curious to see how they go about their business. So Porto, look, decent group. They've got Antwerp, Shakhtar, and obviously Barcelona, but this Porto team could get out of this group. Who are we looking at here, Josh? Who are we looking at here? I mean, their keeper is Diogo Costa, 5.5 million, not for me. Taremi was the leading goal scorer in Portugal last season. Could be a good option. Scored 5 goals in the last Champions League campaign as well. Ivan Marcano, he scores goals as well. Actually, ex-Roma player. 4.5 million defender. Could be a way into another budget option if that's what you're fancying. But yeah, that'll do Porto for now. PSV. Luke de Jong, well overpriced, 8.5 million. They've got Arsenal first game, another team to observe, see who starts. They've got Sevilla and Lens after this game. See how they cope against Arsenal and just see what happens. If you feel like investing, invest. Not for me at the moment. So Real Madrid. So at the moment, it looks like Vinicius Jr. might miss that first game. 11 million forward. Why'd they do that, man? Keep him in the midfield. Man. Bellingham, 72% owned, 7.5 million midfielder. I think he's their leading goal scorer at the moment in the league. He's going to be in most people's squads. He's a weapon. Bellingham is very special. He's in my team. What an option. If you want a nice, like a cheaper option for a big team, Kepa is your option. Looks like Courtois is out for a while. So Kepa is your guy. Alaba, 5.5 million defender. Rodrigo could be a budget option forward, in comparison to Vinicius Jr. Not for me though. Eder Militao is out for a while. That's why I do have Fran Garcia. So for the time being, Fran Garcia he has been starting recently, but getting subbed. So I might not be starting with him. But for the time being, Fran, you've made my my team for the start. A player I was looking at was Lucas Vazquez. He's not a defender. I'm 90% sure he's not a defender. But he's a 4.5 million defender. So if he starts getting starts, because he's like a winger, just a player to look at. I thought I'd put it out there for you legends. And Hosselu, 7.5 million forward. Hosselu, if he does get a start early, could be a really good option. He's a cheap Madrid striker. Sociedad, again, a team to observe. 6.5 million forward. Oyarzabal. So this guy here, I watched him when Roma played them in the Europa League last year. Great to watch. Him and that, Merkel? Is his name Merkel? Yeah, they've got a couple of players that are, decent to watch. Marino, this guy here. Mikel Marino, there you go. So they got Inter to start with, Salzburg and Benfica. So again, a team to, all right, let's see what you got against Inter. Who's starting? What's the story? And see what happens. Salzburg. So Salzburg scores goals. And Leipzig scores goals. So these are the two teams to keep an eye on. Dedic at the back there, he scores goals. He scores headers. Could be a decent budget option there. What else we got here? Koita has a 7.5 million forward. So this Konate, 5.5 million forward, he's a budget option striker. If you do some research, he's actually had a decent start into their season. And if you hit the ground running with this Salzburg team has been bred even before when Haaland was there to score goals. That's their philosophy, is to score goals. So this team here, I know that their group isn't exactly easy, but they've got Benfica to start with, and then they've got Sociedad. So it could be like a couple of punts here. Like I'm actually looking at that 5.5 million striker. Potentially if it is meant to be, Konate might start on my team, but at the same time, Alvarez for an extra 1.5 million. Oh, it's hard to resist. All right, so Sevilla got Lens to begin with. PSV and Arsenal is in their group. This team is, it's a decent team. They beat us in the Europa League final. Well played. But yeah, just a team that I'm not looking at. They've got great players. Like Jesus Navas would be probably the one player. 5 million defender. He bombs forward. He looks younger than ever. I don't know what's happened. But yeah, like solid squad. Ocampos has a 7.5 million forward. Great option. Probably a little bit overpriced as well, but Ocampos is getting better and better. He's improving. What else? What else with this team? Yeah, again, another team that I'm just going to observe. Rakitic, we know that he's class as well. Shakhtar Donetsk, we might have ourselves a 4 million defender in this team. Let me find him. Here we go. Kozik. So this Kozik guy most likely is the 4 million defender budget option to enable other players. Again, a team I'm not even looking at though. But look, if I want to put him in, I might put him in. All right, so Union Berlin, they did a bit of research. They did a bit of strengthening. They brought in Fofana, they brought in Bonucci, they brought in Gossens, they brought in a couple of players, Aronson. But just a team that, they've got Madrid to begin with, and they've got Napoli. So a team that I'm going to observe, and finishing with young boys. That's it, huh? That's it. We've gone through them. Young boys, again, just a team that I'm not looking at all. I've done a bit of research into this team though. What did I find with this team? Oh yeah, no, not much here. No, just a team that I'm not looking at. Yeah, that's it. So that's basically a nice little preview into the beautiful game that is the Champions League. It's going to be an epic season. I'm pumped to enjoy this beautiful game and just enjoy these points as well, and some of these players that I'm sure that I've mentioned that I won't start with, and they'll do damage, and it'll be like fair play. But that's what it's all about with this game. Enjoy, have fun. If you bring in a player that you have an option between two, and one of the players you bring in doesn't get you what you want, and the other one that you didn't bring in did the damage, you're like, it's just about, again, being patient, learning the lessons, moving forward, and moving forward. Big element to this game. So I'm going to be captaining Haaland, and probably one little last thing as well, just a little bit of information, is you've got the dates. So we can do basically substitutions. So on the first game of the match day, which is Wednesday, I'm in Australia, so the Wednesday morning is us. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday nights for you guys. So anyway, the first match day, the first game day is the 20th, and then basically all those games finish, and then we can make substitutions, change our captain. If Haaland only got 7-8 points, and I'm like, you know what, I want to captain Saka, take the captaincy off Haaland, put it on Saka. If Alvarez only got 2 points, drag him off, take him off, bring on Darmian off the bench, and that kind of side of things as well. So thought I'd share that as well with you legends, and that's it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it with people that you might benefit from it. Feel free to like it, that'd be cool. And leave some comments if you appreciated what I just did. Oh man, I'm somewhat finished right now. I think I've got to stop and breathe. But enjoy the campaign. It's going to be epic. Peace and love to you all. And as we say at FPL Take the Hit, always remember to stay positive, accept the red arrows, and embrace those green arrows, guys. Peace.
Take the hit.